she jumped right in after being a member for 1 week.
Yay.
She's going to do her icebreaker, and the icebreaker is going to really tell us about her and who she is, and maybe she's got some tips now from Pilar of how to keep this 27-year-old marriage going a little longer, huh? All right. So she has been married for 27 years, lives here in California for 42 years. I didn't think you were quite that old, but that's good, right? Happily married. They do have 3 children. She was a nurse, met her husband at UCI Medical Center, and he's a doctor, right? Okay, great. And I guess from what I heard, you're going to get him to become a member too, after you get a little more accustomed to us? Great, wonderful. All right, so with no further ado, I am going to bring you up here and let's find out more details about you. All right. You jumped right in there. A good girl. All right.
I have some pictures to also show.
All right.
I'll go ahead and share that with you now. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I feel honored this morning and humbled to stand here and be able to share my first icebreaker speech titled A Blessed Life. I asked myself, how do I share 51 years of my life when every part of it encompasses the person I am from the past to the present? It's not possible, therefore I'll just share a short summary of my childhood and my perspective as an adult, and the rest you'll have to hear. You'll have to wait and hear about it, possibly in another speech. So first I'd like to tell you my real names, plural, because it's unusual. I have 3 names, 2 first names and a middle name. Typically children in the Philippines are given a first name and a middle name, and they're usually associated with a saint if you're Catholic. In my case, I was given 3 names because my mother liked the name Agnes and my father liked Marilyn. My mother named me after Saint Agnes, who was martyred because of her Christian faith, and my father named me after the actress Marilyn Monroe. Hence my names, Marilyn, Agnes, Rose, y Chavez, Seguina. But I simplified it to Agnes Seguina. I was born in the Philippine Islands on August 30th, 1959. In the Philippines, we were considered an average-sized family with 6 children. I'm the first biological child by my father, but the second from my mother. Did you get that? Yeah. It's a mystery I've yet to discover about my mother. So continuing on, I have fond memories of my childhood. I enjoyed the outdoors. Catching huge dragonflies was my favorite pastime since I didn't have a doll. I enjoyed reading comic books and performing a dance routine in front of my family. We always had extended family living in our home, aunts, uncles, and cousins living or visiting us. And at one point, we probably had at least 13 people living in our home, including my grandmother. They were mostly on my mother's side of the family. My parents were generous and enjoyed hosting celebrations for an event or for a family member. My father loved to raise chickens, ducks, and pigs for food, and during special occasions, he bought a piglet because they were good to eat. And I'd get really excited when he brought one home because I would, it would be my pet and I loved playing with it. And when it was time for my father to prepare to roast it, I would get very upset. I have bad memories of running upstairs, closing my eyes and ears so I couldn't hear nor see it squeal for its life. I guess as a child I must have gotten over it quickly because the piglet looked, tasted, and smelled delicious. Roasted over an open fire. Feasting on my favorite Filipino food always brings back memories of my childhood, like pancit, lumpia, adobo, coconut, jackfruit, and fried plantain bananas, to name a few. In our busy household, there was never a dull moment. Weekends were busy either preparing for a party and cooking or making special dessert to sell to neighbors and office to make extra money. As a child, my parents modeled hard work, generosity, hospitality, resourcefulness, and respect for the elderly, and interestingly, those are what I value and live by. They knew even with a college education, working harder wasn't going to get them ahead in the Philippines. My grandmother knew their struggle and told them, if you want to have a better life for your children, you should leave the Philippines and go to America. My mother listened and followed her advice. In September of 1969, my family moved to Los Angeles, California. I was 10 years old at the time. I had mixed feelings about moving to a different country. I questioned my ability to make new friendships, but on the other hand, I was excited to meet kids and practice the use of my English language. What I didn't look forward to was going to school because I was shy. I wasn't proficient in speaking English. I confess I hated living in Los Angeles because I was often bullied and called names. When my mother found a full-time job, I was so happy and relieved. We moved to North Hollywood next to Universal Studios in the mid-70s. And about this time, my grandmother passed away, and my older sister came to live with us. We couldn't afford a housekeeper. Consequently, my mother taught us to cook, clean, and do the laundry. She modeled for me courage, determination, devotion to God, and respect for people that I value and appreciate. She was the breadwinner, therefore most family decisions were based on her goals and dreams, with my father standing by her side to support her. I'm thankful for receiving the benefit of their foresight and labor of love for their children, that I stand here today a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. As I think about my childhood, I realize the countless blessings we were granted by God for always providing the needs of my family, and the door of opportunity He opened for us to live in America so we can pursue a better life for me and the next generation. It's a dream for most Filipino families. I would love to be able to unfold more of my story with you, but unfortunately, you'll have to wait to hear it in another speech, possibly. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you, Agnes. Please take a moment and fill out your evaluations.